everybody. Thanks for tuning into the Quick and Slow Comedy Show. I'm the person talking. My name is Aaron Maslow. And today on the show, Nick, Jamie, and Tom are talking to Mark DeBonis. He's a Toronto comedian. And he's got a lot of fun stories today, especially about traveling in the U.S. and being a road comic. What they discover is that everything in the U.S. is cheaper, including booze, but especially bullets. Mark has a great story about Uber rides and also getting stuff thrown at him during a show in a shitty town. This is a pretty good episode. It's part 1 of 2. Lisa Baker's going to join us at the end of the episode. If you don't know who she is, she's a slayer. That's a stupid thing to say about a person, but she is really funny, and she just won Funniest Person with a Day Job in Edmonton, so she comes in at the end. Mark is hilarious. Jamie's got a new room, you should check it out. Tom is a musician, you should check out his page. And Nick, well, he's Nick. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, let us know in our comments section on either Facebook or iTunes or at our website, quickandslow.com. Either way, we're real glad to have you, and we'll talk to you later.
So, Tom, you've got your dates coming up?
Yeah, we're playing on June 9th and 10th.
This will already have not been out yet, so...
Yeah. Well, okay, so we played on June 9th and 10th. The shows were fan-fucking-tastic. People actually showed up. I can't even believe it.
Wow.
That's good.
Good job, man. Good job.
I'm happy that it went well.
I saw your
Yeah, me too.
I saw your little YouTube video thing.
Yeah, we did up a teaser because we're coming out with a single hopefully for the end of the month. So it kind of hopefully it'll get people hyped up. I mean,
Nice.
maybe we'll see.
Where was the show?
The show on the 9th we played at Almanac. It's a little gastro pub on White Ave there.
Oh, nice.
Does that just mean like a pub that you can eat at?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Every time I hear the term gastropub, I'm all like, get your fucking finger out of your ass and
Gastronomique.
quit being
Yeah.
fancy. You're not French. I don't know why he had his finger in his ass, but I just feel like that's what fancy assholes do.
Yeah.
So you
This
like
shit
Get your
around
thumb out of
sitting
your
on their
bum.
thumbs.
so a fancy French bar.
Yeah.
And then where's the other show?
And then the other show was at Bohemia. It was actually a pajama party, so everybody wore their pajamas. It was pretty weird because you got to see a lot of moose knuckles.
So it's like a pub pajama.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone,
Nice.
a lot of the regular patrons of Bohemia just only wear pajamas anyway.
Like,
So.
as an older kind of gentleman, I look back on like days where I would go to a bar and like if like you weren't dressed properly, like I'd get made fun of for wearing like a Dragon Ball shirt, and now people are showing up in their fucking pajamas.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
because you were wearing a Dragon Ball shirt, you piece of shit nerd.
I love Dragon Ball.
Yeah, you needed Dragon Ball pajamas.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
That's
you'd be
Dragon-
cool.
Dragon
Yeah.
Ball onesie.
yeah, yeah,
That would be totally legit, just saying.
yeah. And Jamie, you're in charge of this new Yuck Yucks in a restaurant now.
Okay, it's not in a restaurant. Well, it's not a restaurant anymore. It's actually, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not in charge.
I'm
Listen, I'm like-
not in charge, and it's not a restaurant. Nothing you said is true.
I'm like, I don't want to be in charge ever. That's gross. Ew, that's too much responsibility. Then I have to do things.
Okay, so you're second in command.
Thank you, yeah.
You're the Lieutenant Riker.
Yeah, oh my god. I'd totally rather be Riker because he was such a hunk.
Yeah, he had way better hair than Picard.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And a better beard.
Yeah, word up. But you, so it's in the new place,
Mhm.
and you're really enjoying it there?
I'm enjoying it except for the fact that every time we have more than 90 people there, I get intense anxiety about Albertans with their entitlement to space having to sit too close together.
Hashtag manspreading.
It's all the trucks.
Yeah, and the thing is that we had one show where 3 like 400-pound people showed up, and it just fucked up everything.
What's the protocol in the chairs? If like a 400-pound person comes in,
Yeah.
They
Like,
sit
do
in
they
a
get
chair.
2
like,
chairs or 1?
well, we
How
gave
many-
them I gave the 2 really fat people a table for 4 to sit at, but they still
Wait, were they sitting
instead
on the
of-
table or the chair?
Instead of
Here's your table.
angling
Yeah.
or something,
They
they
just
just,
did-
fucking sprawl.
Yeah, you see, you just got to be a little bit more self-aware.
I think that people just aren't self-aware and aren't very considerate of those around them.
yeah, they don't care.
Like, I
And
don't
so
wanna,
it's like, I don't know why I'm carrying if none of them fucking do.
Like,
But
I don't want
Yeah.
to fat shame or anything, but, like, maybe they could just stay
But
home.
you're gonna fat shame
Maybe they
right
could
now.
just stay home.
And the
Like,
thing- the
until
thing
they're
is-
until they're ready to be part of society.
Is
they could
it's
just...
like whatever, be whatever you want to be, but the fact is this is fucking up my shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, like it's like now on airplanes, if you're like over a certain size, you need to pay for 2 seats.
It's
That's
kind of
an
fair,
actual
though.
thing.
Like,
Yeah, like it's.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying anything. Yeah, like, like I understand everyone has different bodies and stuff like that, but you can't be sitting in the middle of an aisle, like when you know your size. You know,
it's
like you at least got to be considerate
Yeah.
for the world around your world.
Like, how does that work if you can't fit out of the emergency exit?
Because
Yeah,
it's
then you're
really
going out last.
It's really nothing about their weight. It's just that their lack of consideration regarding their weight.
But then you got to think, like, are they like that because they have had years of people
just
making
shitting
fun of
on
them for
them?
being fat, and they're like, you know what? I'm
Fuck
doing
you.
me. Yeah.
I'm gonna take this one. I'm taking it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, don't worry, I've thought about all of this. But it's just like, I just remember sitting there and watching all these angry truck men. They
Yeah.
all. I swear, I'm
angry
projecting.
truck man. You mean Transformers?
Yeah, Optimus
Fucking
Prime,
Decepticon pieces
Starscream,
of
like
shit.
they were all pissed off. Autobots and Decepticons alike.
I just think Optimus Prime when you say a truck man. Like, that's what a truck man is to me.
Mr.
I'm
Truck
like,
Man.
no, it's just it's a man. It's a truck, but with like a man's head mounted like on
Where the
fucking hood
medallion
somewhere.
would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Mad Max style.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Did anyone notice that the world is turning into Mad Max and that our gas stations don't have gas?
Yeah, I noticed a lot
Like,
of our
the
gas
apocalypse
stations
is
don't have
happening.
gas. That was weird.
Really? They don't have
'Cause
gas?
The couple refineries got fucked, and at least Petrocan. has,
Apparently, like, there was a little fire in our province a little while ago.
Yeah.
And
Nobody
now
told
it's-
me about
Now
that.
it's Mad Max.
That
I went to the
would
gas
do it.
station. They're like, we only have the most expensive gas. But I like had been driving around not by gas stations and just neglecting to go out of my way to actually get gas. And it was like reaching the point of no return where I'm like, I need to get gas now, or I'm gonna end up in the middle of the fucking road, like calling someone and having to wait and blah blah blah.
You got a bike?
Yeah, not downtown at the time.
Oh, okay.
How much is the most expensive gas?
Well,
Or was it?
yesterday it was like almost $1.30.
Yeah.
$1.30 almost.
Welcome to Ontario prices.
Well, it was that much.
That's like Ontario medium gas.
Like-
at a time. Now it went.
it went down.
It went down to. I think I remember it was like the cheapest I saw it in the past 6 months was probably like 86. And
That's about how it was with us too.
people were
Losing
rioting.
their shit.
It was insane. Like when it went down, lineups from gas stations were around the block. Like
That's fucked.
it
People
was
were-
because
people
it
were
had
so-
Did it stay down for a long time? Because it did for us.
It went up and down. Like it never really went over $1 from what I remember. Like it would go up to like 104 and then it went back down. And but I
Okay.
remember it being like a consistent 84 cents like for a while, which is huge. Like it hasn't been that cheap since I was a kid. Because I remember when I was a kid, it was like 60, 70
Yeah,
cents.
when I first
Yeah.
started driving, it was like 70 cents or something like
yeah,
that.
and then it just popped up, and I don't. My whole high school career, college, I don't ever remember being under $1. Like I
No.
never saw gas under $1.
I did occasionally because we're here.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
like we
Well,
don't
yeah.
really get that much of a deal on our own fucking gas. All the gas that we make, we ship
And then they
mostly
sell it
to other
back.
places.
It's modern mercantilism.
Yeah, I think I know what that means.
We're,
Well,
we're all
it's-
impressed.
Like I understand the concept. I think.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just assuming that it's what I
when
just
Canada
said.
First,
Yeah.
yeah, when Canada first started, what they would do is they would chop down trees here, and then instead of giving people the tools to make goods,
We need
they
more
would
of
ship
that.
the wood all the way over to England, make the goods, and then ship them back and charge them.
Double shipping back fee.
Yeah.
Like
Is-
yeah,
Isn't that why there
So
was
that's
like
kinda how
a
it works
Revolutionary
here.
War?
Yeah. Gastro. It's
Yeah.
gastro.
Okay. Yeah, it's very
it's like-
gastro.
And it's like,
So
and now
gastro.
Yeah,
we're
it's
just
super
choosing to do
gastro.
this because that's how you make oil money, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, sure.
And then when
Yeah, yeah.
the people are like, the refineries in Fort Mac are fucked.
Fort-
I don't have
Fort
any gas.
Mac.
Fart Mark.
Fart Mark.
Hey.
All that gas and fart mark.
different kind of gas.
Yeah. No, for me it's weird because like when I get booked on a gig and I have to drive to BC, which is always a fucking nightmare. As soon as you cross that border, it goes from like 80 cents to like $1.20. Like,
Yeah.
it is.
You always try and
50%.
fill up before you pass that line.
Yeah.
Like you just want to like take your empty Starbucks cup and just
I
fill that
know.
up with some gas just to get you a little further.
crossing the border into BC or into
BC.
America?
Oh, in America, it's
Because
always
into
weird too.
America, it gets weird because some
Gas
like
is
in,
insanely cheap.
in
these days.
Phoenix,
Everywhere
gas is so
except-
cheap.
Everywhere
it's really weird.
except California. California, it is way more expensive.
Really?
Really?
Oh,
Heavily,
yeah.
heavily,
Like my
heavily
parents-
taxed.
My
Holy
parents have a place in
crap.
Phoenix, and like so I get a drive when I'm down there. And I go to the gas stations and it's like, oh, it's $2 or whatever, but that's a fucking gallon. Like gallon, which is 4 liters.
Yeah.
I know.
So I'm like, I'm
that'll take
paying
you,
50 fucking cents for gas. Or, yeah.
like
Yeah, it's
$20.
insane.
Like,
$20
very
will take
cheap.
you all the way from Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Tacoma.
We drove from Toronto to L.A. and we drove from Toronto to L.A. And then
That's
once we got
cute,
into the
Nick.
States, we spent probably, I would say, $200 on gas from Detroit to L.A. Not even.
like, that's insane
Yeah.
because
Like,
it costs
not even
$200
that.
to get to
Yeah.
Vancouver. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 200 is like I'm exaggerating. Like I'm just because
and their roads are really great too
But-
for like
Yeah.
Yeah,
not
but
having to stop and start.
Nobody in Detroit has $200. So like,
we actually went to a gas station and we went to a gas station to fill up, and so my friend goes to the pump, and it's not working. So he goes in, and there's clearly some sort of deal going down. And there's a guy with a bag and a guy behind the counter. And my friend walks in, and they both stop and look at him, and they're like, "Can I help you?" And he's like, the guy's like, my friend's like, "Yeah, I just want to get gas." And they're like, "This is not a fucking gas station." And we're in a gas station. And then they kind of just stared my friend down. And then he like came out. And he's like, "We got to get out of here. Like something is definitely
This is fucked.
going on in this fake. I don't even know how he got in.
That's like you're walking around in Fallout at that
Yeah,
point.
it was so weird. And then I saw them in there, and he's like, "Yeah, there was something was definitely going down."
Jeez.
But yeah, it's definitely a lot cheaper over there.
Oh,
It's fucked up.
everything is. It's crazy, man. Like,
No, you know what? There's weird things that are more expensive. Like for some reason, DVDs.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like blank DVDs or
no,
like movies?
ones that you'd buy because like when I'm over there and my parents don't have cable, I just go to Walmart and be like, oh, like I can get DVDs for like $5 here.
Yeah,
Just get like a fucking season of South Park for $5 or $10.
and then it's like
And-
$30.
But it's like it was way more expensive there. Just like random dumb things though that don't
Yeah,
really matter.
Well, like Netflix, everyone's all about Netflix US, right?
Mhm.
And when I was like, I'm trying to like, I've been in LA for the past month, and it was like, I was watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and then I went to Netflix US, and they don't have Brooklyn Nine-Nine in the States. You have to pay for it on Netflix because Netflix does this
oh,
like
they've
rental
changed their
thing.
model now.
So it's like
Ooh.
you know
Shit, I hope that
Chelsea,
doesn't get here soon. Yeah.
Chelsea
Freddie.
lately.
Or Chelsea. Oh, Chelsea Handler.
Chelsea Handler. So I watched that series on Netflix when I was in Toronto, and when I went to LA, it wasn't even out on Netflix US yet. They were like promoting that it's coming out.
Weird.
It's really weird, and I feel like they kind of test stuff
They're
in
testing
Netflix
stuff in Canada.
and then they sell it because you couldn't watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I had to pay like $3 if I wanted to watch the second season.
That's dumb. I
Wow.
heard actually that at least here in Edmonton, because we're so isolated, we actually get a lot of like products and shit first for testing.
I heard that.
So
yeah.
they probably do that shit on all of Canada.
I
to
heard
some
that
degree.
there's some places that there's that they do product testing. Like there's a town in Ontario, I think it's called Belleville. I don't remember if it's the exact town, but it's actually apparently don't even quote me on this. Someone told me that it's a restaurant testing
Oh,
town.
that sounds like a nightmare, man. You're like,
Oh,
oh,
no.
brand new. No, you're like brand new chicken wings, and then you grow a third eye or something. You don't want to
yeah,
be the first
it's
guy
es-
to do
it's
that.
essentially like they'll bring like it's just
like testing not for chefs, testing for creepy companies.
yeah, like they'll try and bring in chains, and that's like where there's a strip where it's all
Oh.
these. It's like you're in this small
Interesting.
town, then all of a sudden it's just packed with all this stuff.
Like Edmonton, we got our Carl's Jr. a little while ago, and like we didn't have any Carl's. And like any time that I flew into Vegas, they have a Carl's Jr.
Everywhere.
right like in the airport before
Yeah.
you can even get your bags. There's a Carl's
Just right
Jr.
there.
And I was like,
Just Carl, what do you want, man?
yeah,
A burger?
exactly.
We just got a Denny's in Toronto
What?
under a year ago.
Really, you just got a
Your first
Denny's?
Denny's?
I was
Under
like,
a
they
year
should
ago.
never have let it in.
That is so weird.
Yeah, we never had one, and I'd never see anyone in there, but it's 24 hours.
Don't go in there.
Carl's Jr., I think we had one, and it shut down.
Yeah.
Really? That's weird.
Maybe. I think it was a Carl's Jr. It was an American burger chain. It was right beside, it was on Queen Street, and
Oh,
it
okay.
shut down.
Went the way of Target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's strange. America is so different from Canada in so many like crazy ways like that. The restaurant, the food and everything. But when you go down there, like the booze is dirt cheap. The smokes
know.
are dirt cheap. Like all of the things
Well, they
that'll
don't
kill
tax
you.
it.
Yeah, all of the things that will kill you.
Well, they want
Like-
it to be cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
They're-
tax the fuck out of it in Canada. But
Oh,
here,
Yeah, it's That's the one thing I always, when I talk to like guys in the States, they're like, man, you can't even drink, you can't get a pint anywhere for under $7 in Toronto. And I'm like, it's true. Like you can't, it's so expensive. And I remember growing up, I always hated the fact that you couldn't buy booze in like convenience stores and you just needed the LCBO and beer store. But then once I started going on the road and seeing what fully accessible alcohol does, I'm like, you know what? I'm happy I grew up in a place where you couldn't buy booze for your house after 9 p.m.
Yeah, after 9 p.m. and like Sunday, you can't buy it at all, right?
I think it closes at like 5.
Yeah, like it's really
yeah,
weird.
it's not like a religious thing. It's just like at 5 o'clock they close on Sundays. I remember there was one LCBO that opened up till 10 o'clock, and it was like at 9 o'clock you could not. It was like a mall. Like you couldn't get anything after 9 o'clock in that place. It was so packed because everyone would come from all over the city to go there.
Greater Toronto area.
Yeah.
And like in Toronto too, there's no casinos.
No,
you have to go to Niagara Falls.
Yeah, they're trying to get
too fucking dense there.
They're trying to build one. Like when we do the CNE, there's a little cash casino that happens during that, and it's insane. Like it's crazy because there's no casino there at all.
I'm like, I don't understand people's attraction to. I mean, I do because it's like, well, it's an addiction, but it's just like, why would anyone even go in the first place? You're not gonna win.
You know what? I love the environment.
Oh, really?
I love like the lights and the sounds and people running around.
See,
I don't like spending money though.
I love it in Vegas.
Yeah,
because
you're like Vegas.
In Vegas, it's Vegas, and everyone's there for a good time.
Yeah, like
they're there for parties, stagettes, like vacations.
Yeah, you don't go to like a sad casino.
Yeah, it's like casinos everywhere else are mostly just like a sea of middle-aged and old people just wasting their lives away.
Yeah. They're trading money and hope for time.
Yeah, I went to the casino in Reno.
Yeah, Reno's sweet too because it's party.
It has a good mix though of like insane meth heads, sad people. Because like I hate the idea of like losing money fast.
Yeah.
So I would have to go to the cheapest casino where there were like dollar minimums, and it is the saddest bunch of people where it's just like, oh man, it's sad.
Even in Vegas, like. There's this place that will stay like kind of off the strip that has its own little casino.
Yeah.
That's like, it's not right on the strip. And
it's the Tuscany?
It's the South Point.
Oh, okay.
So the casino is the South Point, and it's kind of dodgy, and the tables are $1, but you can go there and gamble for free while they bring you free. Gamble for cheap while they bring you free drinks, so it's like it evens out.
And it's fun though, right? Like I would rather go to a table with $10 and get a bunch of 50-cent chips and then play roulette and let it last for like a half hour.
Because no, I get gambling and that party, like, doing it for the fun for a brief period of time sense.
Yeah.
Anyone that like the patrons of my dear casino is
once you get to that point where you're like, you know.
The people that you see, they get paid and they just bring their paycheck in.
Yeah. That's the sad part.
My favorite casinos are the ones in like Boston Pizza where it's like 3 VLT machines.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those are the worst.
Those ones.
That
those
lady that you know hasn't left.
Apparently, you can win at those ones though. Like,
really?
like when someone was telling me that they have a better chance of winning at the VLTs in like bars than you do at a casino.
You've given a lot of people hope.
I hope so. I hope so.
I always look at the weird things like roulette's okay.
I love roulette.
Like
it's at least
blackjack's
actual
okay.
chance.
Yeah,
you'd be surprised how many times I guess the actual number in roulette.
Really?
It's crazy.
No,
I never guessed the actual
I'm about
number.
the outside. I'm about the outside.
No, I never do it.
I will always go to the cheap table, put $10 down on all the crosses.
Yeah.
And then usually, or like $5 down.
You'll get one of them or
and
something.
then I'll get one of them and I'll get $8 back for my 5 that I put down.
Yeah.
And that's usually I slowly do that.
Yeah, that's exactly how you got to do it. You got to like, you go in and spend a lot of money. It's insane. Like I was talking, like the last time I was in Grand Prairie.
The Great Northern Casino.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun gig, man.
Yeah, so I did the show, and then after I get like $20 and I walk around and I'm like looking for the cheapest table.
Yeah.
And then the lady's like, everything's like minimum $10, and I'm like, I don't want to gamble. Like it's too much. Like I don't want to spend $20 in 2 hands. You know, like
no, it's ridiculous.
So she's like, there is one game, but don't bother. And I was like, what? Like when he's sending me on this like secret table, and then she's like,
you bet on what dog will kill the other one.
She's like, you don't want. You need a secret knock to get in, and I'm like, no, like. What is it? And she's like, it's a style of poker. It's 3-card poker or something.
Yeah.
But you're playing against the dealer, and apparently you need to have jacks or better to play. But if the dealer busts, you win. So if the dealer doesn't get a pair of jacks or better in the 3 cards that she's dealt, or they automatically lose and everyone at the table wins. So to sit down, it's $5. To play, you can only bet what you started with. So it's $10 essentially to play. I played this game for almost 2 hours, and if I was like an actual gambler, like big bucks, I guarantee you I would have made over $3,000. I played for 2 hours, and I did not lose one hand. And the guy sitting to my left got so mad that I wasn't anteing up and betting big that he sat to my right, because the way the game is you're getting dealt 3 cards at a time. So no matter what, like, so here's an example. I had to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, I just want to sit out. And he's like, no, you're not supposed to sit out, because if you sit out, it fucks the whole game up. So he's like, what you have to do is you just bet blind. You go and then trust that we're going to watch your hand for you. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to sit out, man, if that's cool. So I sat out for one hand. I come back, and he's like, do you know I got a straight? And I'm like, oh, that's good, right? He's like, well, the dealer got a flush. So that means if you were sitting here, you would have got a straight, and I would have got a flush, and the dealer would have bust. So we all would have won. So he got so mad at me, and I wasn't playing the game properly because I was just betting little things. Like, it was, and apparently it's the highest odds in the casino, and they're trying to get rid of it now. That and single deck blackjack.
Yeah,
which is only in Reno, by the way. You can't find that.
That's a card counter's wet dream.
Yeah. Single deck blackjack was insane.
I don't even know how to count cards, but you can still tell. Like when you're playing solitaire on
like
your phone or whatever,
when you
can
see
still
like
tell,
4 things come up.
Boom,
like,
boom, boom.
Okay.
I know
Yeah.
that, like.
And that's what it is. It's like because I don't like playing at a table when there's anyone else. Like, so I tell the dealer, like, when I was playing single deck blackjack, I'm like, look, if anyone else comes to the table, I'm leaving. And I ended up winning like 14 hands in a row because I started realizing, I'm like, okay, king just came out, so there's a chance, and so some bum came beside me, and I'm like, I'm done. And then she's like, but you just won. Like, and I'm like, no, like, I can't be around negative energy because it gets in my head.
Fucks with my chi, bro.
It does. It honestly,
chi, bro.
I gotta go meditate
I
with my
understand
crystals.
It honestly does.
No, it fucks with me. I feel it. I feel
Yeah.
sad when I'm around a bunch of sad people.
Exactly.
how
Because
do
the
you
guy
do
came with
comedy?
a cigarette, and
They're all negative.
I build a wall. I build a wall.
We're gonna build a wall. It's gonna be the best wall.
Like, and they're gonna pay
It's an
for it.
emotional wall.
But like when you're sitting there and like everybody's going, they're like, oh, I'm gonna be the one to turn this show around. I'm gonna, and then they come back and they're defeated and they're upset.
You're talking
and
about
they're-
comedy, yeah?
Yeah, comedy.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's the audience. Fuck them. It's
Yeah, yeah.
like, how do you deal with that then? Because I fucking like comedy is one of those things where the people like gambling and go in with so much hope and they can
Yeah.
be crushed.
Well, the difference with you're essentially gambling. Like, we're all gambling in the career that we're choosing here.
Yeah.
It's like it's just, I think you have better odds because you know what your hand is,
Yeah.
right? It's like whenever people, the first thing I learned in comedy, or one of the first things I learned was, don't be a hero. No one in comedy respects a hero, because what happens is you see a show where everyone's bombing, and then in your head you're like, I'm going to be the guy to turn around, or girl, whatever. And it's cool and all if you do it in your time. But what happens is when you're the hero, you sometimes go 10 minutes overtime because you want to end on a laugh or something. And then you end up ruining what is already a bad show, making it so much worse. And the guy came up to me and he's like, look, man, no matter how it's going, just do not go overtime.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't drop a Hindenburg on that Titanic. If it's bad, just let it be fucking bad.
And let it be bad. Exactly. Let it just, be happy that everyone's going down together.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Find that common ground.
yeah. But that's what builds friends in comedy, I think. Like, that's the hardest thing where, when you're involved in a new comedy scene, they don't know you. It's because you haven't gone to war with them. Like, you start out with your core group of people, and I imagine it's the same in music. It's like you guys do a bunch of these disaster shows, and everyone's just eating shit, and then you're all laughing about how bad the show was after. Yeah. And then when a new person comes to the city, it's like, oh, who's this guy? He hasn't gone to war with us, like.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is it's like before, like nobody would, when I was brand new, not really many people gave me the time of day until they saw me fucking eat shit.
Exactly, because then they're like, okay, so you ate shit with us now, right? Like, so that's, and it's a really weird mentality,
But like that for you, that's got to be a unique perspective because like you do a lot of touring. You're always around like in Reno or LA or anything. So you're always the new guy. So like, do you have to go to a town and eat shit in front of the people?
I do try and get involved in the open mic scene, but I've also realized that it's not the same in the States. Like in New York or LA, if you get involved in the open mic scene, you're known as an open mic guy, and it's very hard to get out. It's like the friend zone. Like you've been put in the friend zone by the industry, right? So like unless you're coming and going, it's very hard to move up. Like if you have 10 years of experience under your belt and you go to New York and you start doing the paid open mics, they're not going to take you seriously because they're like, why don't you have friends who can vouch for you to do a real show?
Yeah.
Right? So when I'm always going to a new scene, I have to like, because comedy is the worst meeting people, because if you don't do well on a show, most of the time a comic won't talk to you after.
I don't know. The first time I met you, I'm not sure if you remember the Leaf.
Yeah, that disaster show.
Oh, that was a nightmare
God,
show.
the Leaf.
And that was like the first time I saw you, and we all were eating dicks.
Yeah, we all eat shit.
I
yeah,
think there
for
was
sure.
a drug deal
There was
happening.
a lot
There
of
was.
dicks to be eaten at that show.
The bartender, didn't the guy who owned the place sleep at the bar the night before because he was so drunk?
Yeah, he.
That show was a motherfucking dick buffet.
That's
Like,
so
The
brilliant.
guy was so drunk and he slept
Yeah.
there. And then there was these two guys in leather vests, like biker guys, and they were like handing Ziploc bags back and forth
Yeah, that was-
and talking over the comedy show with their drug deal being
Yeah.
so loud.
I think I had to do 40 minutes that night. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a mess.
Yeah. It was a fun show. Wow.
Yeah. There is something fun about bombing though. Like, and when you work with like actual, and I don't mean this to like offend, like actual comics, you know, it's like they can see even when you're bombing that there's something there. You
Yeah.
know, like it's like, hey, we've all been in this scenario, but I feel like when people only talk to you because you do well, it's like a fake thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like I would rather you talk to me after you saw me eat shit for 40 minutes and see how I deal in that situation than go and do and kill,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? Like
Like you can learn a lot about somebody by how they lean on a bomb. Like if you
Yeah.
see somebody on stage and they start getting nervous, and then
Yeah.
the audience knows they won at that point. So,
Exactly. You just never
Yeah.
let them know.
Well, the
Yeah.
audience smells your fear, and then they start feeling sorry for you. Then they shut the fuck off.
Exactly.
yeah.
It's very interesting.
Mm. What was the worst you've ever done on stage?
Oh man, I don't even know. I there's definitely been too many to count. I feel like there's times where I've had like stuff thrown at me.
Yeah.
Well, what types of things?
One time a guy threw an orange at me
What?
because
Well,
the
you
guy-
did have scurvy.
well the guy you know what? That would have been a better excuse for what the actual reason was. It wasn't an orange. It was like, what are those little, not clementines, are those like those mini oranges?
they're like
Mandarin.
Oh,
Mandarin.
clementines is one type.
It's like for Chinese New Year. What
Yeah,
are they?
Mandarin
Yeah,
orange.
Mandarin orange.
So my friend on this bar, and he's like, let's do a comedy show. And, you know, he's this Chinese guy, and it was Chinese New Year. So he's walking around during the show with a basket of mandarins.
Oh, fuck.
And there were these tables of like 8 guys sitting to the right of me who did not care about the show. They weren't into the show, but they all had mandarins. So I'm just, you know, I'm trying to host a show, and it's like, you know, I'm doing comedy like 2-3 years at this point, not even. And it's just going so bad because this main core is just not into anything.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, out of my peripheral, which, by the way, I think my peripheral vision is better than my front vision. This peripheral comes, I see this orange thing coming flying at me, and I put my hand out, and I catch the orange without
Oh,
turning my
shit.
head.
Whoa.
And I gain the respect of the whole room at that point. Like, I wish I did something amazing, like crush it in my hand or like whip it back at them. But I just told them not to fuck with me, and then they were like, "All right, cool, bro." And then like it was, was.
I just feel like it's like catching a knife before it
was-
hits your face.
It honestly shocked. Even my friend stopped with the basket of mandarins. He's like, "Whoa!" Like that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got offered a contract for the Blue Jays.
Yeah. Then they're like, "Look, we are the Blue Jays." No, it was that was one time. Another time, I remember I went to this small town, and it was a hockey fundraiser.
Oh, I've done so many of those.
Yeah, but it was
Drunk people.
200 people were hockey players, and 200 people were
Oh.
their parents. And it was in this small town, and like I don't really do well like on the road to begin with.
That's a
And
nightmare,
if
though.
there's all hockey players, like I have nothing to relate to them with.
Oh my
And
god.
like the MC goes up and he's killing, and I'm like, oh, I have to do 10 minutes. This is gonna be fine, right?
Yeah.
They go to bring me up. The guy brings me up, and he's like, give it up for Mark DeBonis. And then someone in the crowd was like, what the fuck's a DeBonis? And I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, no.
So I go up, and I do my first joke, and it just dies. I do my second joke, just dies, like even worse. And then some guy yells at me. He's like, tell a fucking sex joke, buddy. And I'm like, I don't have any sex jokes. And he's like, well, I don't want to hear anything you're saying. And I'm like, look, man, like, I don't understand why you guys are, like, you paid to be here. I'm being paid right now to stand in front of you for 10 minutes. You can't just let me get through this. And then one guy's like, I will pay you to get off the stage. And I'm like, how much? And then he's like, and then he pulls out a 5, and he puts 5. He's in the front row, like right, like at my kneecap.
Oh my god.
He puts a 5 on the table. I take the 5, and I'm like, just so you know, I'm finishing my time, but I'm not giving you back your money. And then so now the audience is even getting more mad. People are going out for cigarettes. People are like freaking out. And then at this point, like you were saying, never let them know what's going on. So
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, I feel like we're a good team here, right? Like, you know, like, and like I wasn't letting it get to them, and they were like getting so mad. Eventually, this guy stands up, and he's like, everybody, shut the fuck up and let this guy tell another joke. And I'm like, oh man, thanks. Like, there's, you know, some decency in this town, right? And he's like, and he looks at me and he's like, honestly, your next joke better be better than your last jokes, or I'm gonna fucking bottle you. And then he looks.
What a decent man.
He looks at his hand and he's holding like a can of Bud or something. And he's like, or I'm actually going to whip my can of beer at your face. And I'm like, all right, man, like we don't really need to do this, right? And then all of a sudden this guy gets up, goes to throw a roll of paper towels at me. And then they had to pull me off. They were like, and I'm doing 10 minutes. I didn't even hit 10 minutes. And this is the level of anger that everyone was in this room.
Fucking hockey. And
So this guy goes to throw something at me. He completely misses, right? And I make fun of him. And this is when they have to pull me off. And then they pull me off, and people are just like rioting.
Right.
Like, they're so angry right now. And then it turns out that the guy who goes to throw something at me, I guess, was like handicapped. And he was in like the Special Olympics for shot put. Like they were like,
Oh,
this guy's a
wow.
hero in our town.
That would have
And-
killed you.
Yeah,
That was
well,
a fucking shock.
Retard
Well,
strength.
I didn't say he was in first, but it was like, so it like complete. And then so when I made fun of that guy, because I had no idea, I'm like, things are flying at me. from all the
Everyone looks retarded from here.
And then they actually.
Did he yell Hodor?
I remember he had a pocket watch, and that's what I made fun of. Because he had a pocket watch like in his breast pocket, and I'm like, "Who are you?" And then they had to actually escort me to my car through a back door, and I had to leave before like the
For
show
the
was
whole-
even
people
done. Yeah,
fucking
because they
kicked
were
your
like,
ass.
"You need to get out of here right now."
Wow.
And that wasn't even the worst. Like that was like
You
I
got
was-
yourself on an escort mission there. We gotta get you out of here
Yeah.
right away.
yeah, they're like, "We got this tunnel under this building."
Yeah, it's just shot put's
Underground
always
railway.
Shot put's always distance, never accuracy.
No,
so, like,
no,
I mean,
you
that's
shot
a
put got an
good
open
thing.
field.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like, that was like one of the ones that come to my mind, but I've
God.
definitely bombed a lot for sure. Like,
Fuck, and here I am, like,
riots.
somebody threw a beer bottle at me. I didn't have a good night.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like, at least it wasn't a Special Olympic shot putter.
no, yeah, it was. I don't know. I enjoy like those stories though. Like, I just bombing is definitely fun when you have a friend there, but when you're
Yeah.
alone, it's the saddest thing ever.
You learn a lot about it. You're like,
For sure.
yourself.
You also learn like what you don't want to do. Like, I don't ever care to do that shit. Like, go back to that town.
Not going back for your hockey fundraiser?
No, because I know where my markets are if I have any, you know, and they're definitely not in towns of 1,200 people, you know,
Yeah.
like.
I don't think many comedians markets apart from like fucking Larry the Cable Guy.
No, you
But
just
that,
go
there's
in
a
there.
lot of road comics that, you know,
Yeah.
live on that bread and butter, which is totally cool. Like, I have like a thing where I feel like there's you come to a crossroads in your stand-up career where, let's say there's 100 people in the crowd. I feel that 60 of those people are dragged out and 40 of them actually want to be there,
Yeah.
right? And the numbers can be different.
Roughly.
And it's like, those 60% are like the small town market. They're the people who are the friends of the friends who are dragged out, and you can do whatever, road joke to win them over. And then there's the 40% who actually enjoy comedy, and it's a longer road and it's a smaller market. But I feel like if you hit those 40%, those are the people that are going to remember your name.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the 60% are just like, hey man, that dick joke's hilarious, and then let me buy you like 12 beers, and we can go punch some kid in the head. Like, it's like
That sounds like a blast.
And you're like, I think you're like, I gotta hurry up. I got a second show.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Make it snappy, bro.
yeah.
I feel like a lot of comedy, especially events like fundraisers and stuff like that, like people are like, we're going out to support a cause. Oh,
Yeah.
there's some sort of a show involved?
Yeah,
like
they're
it's
just
almost a
showing face.
surprise.
It is 100% a surprise, right? Like they're all there to show face, and that's the thing. Like, they're there to impress their boss, or their girlfriend wants to go out. Like, it's very interesting. Like, the mentality. Like, I feel like comedy's like on a thing where it's the last thing you do. You're like, man, I got nothing. Let's just go to a comedy
like,
show.
I'm tired of jumping out of planes.
Yeah.
I did a fundraiser for a black belt ceremony for like
That's
That worked
Brazilian
out well, though.
jiu-jitsu, and there was like all these MMA fighters, all these like trained killers. There was guys that
We
were like,
picked you because you're also a trained killer.
yeah, there was like guys in the crowd that are like in the top 10 in Canada for like jiu-jitsu and on like
Really?
Olympic teams
That's
and
awesome.
stuff. And like I get on stage and I'm like, hey, anybody want to fight me? Anybody want to fight me? I immediately start challenging them to fights.
Started hitting bells, and they get like flashbacks.
There was a guy in the audience who was like, boxing's a martial art. I'm like, well, you want to come on stage and show me how it's done? That was my whole fucking thing.
I was
They
like,
probably loved it.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
But
for a
I'm like,
crowd full of trained killers, though, they were all very shy.
oh yeah, I
Oh, yeah,
know.
those are the scariest ones.
Yeah, they didn't want to come on stage, and yeah, it was fun. Yeah, we can take it. It's good. We can take a little break here,
Okay.
and then
I
I
wanna-
can plug dates and stuff.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to this episode of the Quick and Slow Comedy Show with Dan Clark and Nick McQuik. That's bullshit.
Is that in one episode?
Hey everybody, if you like podcasts and you like me, go to... I literally don't know what to do. Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this podcast. If you want to check out more, go to northerncontentnetwork.com. Podcasts in your face every day.
No, for like a show, like, I don't know, my mind's always all over the place, right? Like, I think I would like to have kind of like a Chappelle style show where it's kind of me hosting it, then it cuts to sketches, but then it cuts to like other stuff. Like, it's very, I can't even, I've been trying to figure out, like, I have a bunch of ideas that I've written out for shows,
Yeah.
and then like some of them, a good chunk of them, I don't even ever care to be a part of. Like, if I ever met somebody, I'd be like, hey, here's a bunch of show concepts. And,
Yeah.
like, there's a couple where I'm like, yeah, maybe I would want to be a part of it. Like, I kind of like the documentary style, like Office, Curb
Yeah, those are good.
Enthusiasm vibe for sure.
See,
Yeah.
for me, cat's rubbing against me. For me, like I've got acting credits and everything, but I'm not like acting is fun. It's a great way to pass time, but it's also really stressful. I like more of kind of sort of, I guess, a podcast, which I guess would be kind of like a talk show
Just be yourself.
or like a game show. Yeah, that is so much easier just to be yourself and just be
Mhm.
funny rather than like portray a character. So
Yeah.
I can kind of see the advantage of like a documentary, sort of like The Office one, because I think they don't go too in depth into characters.
Well, like, Steve Carell is definitely a character, and
yeah,
there are characters. Like, it's a. I think that's like a different style. That's like a highlighted version of yourself. It's not like a full on
Yeah.
character.
Yeah,
But
it's like amped up.
yeah, like Arrested Development. Like, obviously, like, what's his name?
Will Arnett.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
his character is
Job.
Like
Job,
every
yeah.
character he plays is like kind of a version of that.
Yeah, like, it's
Yeah,
like there's a that he is that. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like 1/100th of him is Job.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like
Yeah.
that's just like his more like stupid self.
yeah,
Michael, I made a huge
And then it's like fucking even BoJack. It's like a version.
Yeah.
It's kind of like still a version of it, just
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
as
A little,
stupid.
a little more animated.
just more like sad and lonely.
Thank you. But no, it's I noticed when I was in LA last time, and even when I was in Vegas, I met a whole bunch of comics from LA, and for them, they have 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it. They don't go for anything more. They try and get a good 5 minutes. And like we're at the World Series of Comedy. We're in like we're basically having all these like big conferences where people are talking about comedy and writing and all this other sort of stuff. And they're like, I'm gonna get this type of show. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get that. And it's like they're just trying to use the thing that I fucking love to kind of trampoline up into television. Whereas like I already have like stupid media television things that I do, but all of that I've told them, I'm like, here are my dates. You work around this schedule.
Yeah.
Like I just can't wrap my head around people that get into comedy just to not do it.
Well, it's the best way to get seen, right? Like you have to look at stand up is like the quickest, easiest, fastest, not easiest, but
You
it's
don't
like
need help. Though.
it doesn't like cuz sorry?
You just don't need help, and that's nice.
Yeah, like it's the best showcase. Like you can show like, and that's why these guys have like 5 to 7 minutes, because they're like, hey, here's my thing, book me for something, like book me for a role, book me for And a lot of people get shows off of a 5-minute act because they talk about their family, they talk about growing up, they talk about something, and then like
it's a headshot.
it's like a digital headshot or like a video headshot.
Yeah,
It's an interview. It's
Yeah.
a fake interview. It's the same as like if I put together an acoustic set and just like tour around as my acoustic set until somebody was like, "Dude, you're sweet. Let's start a band." Okay,
Yeah, you go unplugged.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
no,
So that's in the States. It's because you gotta understand Canada really, doesn't have much entertainment.
Canadian
No.
show business.
It's
like,
ridiculous.
I'm in Canadian show business. It's basically the American equivalent of the fucking witness protection program. Like,
Yeah.
nobody knows who you are.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and that's why there's not really big aspirations in Canada for comics to be like, oh, I need that 5 minutes to get on TV, because it's like there's just so much more. I think I think you do stand up more in Canada because it's like a passion here more than anything. Yeah.
People do it because they like it, and around here you can get paid. At least during Christmas time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just crazy for me that people like they in like California have been doing comedy for like 12 years and they have 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can do a new 5 minutes every week.
Yeah.
As much as I feel like, I can like stand to refine any 5 that I've done. I'm just like, after 12 years, I'm pretty sure it's refined.
Yeah,
As much as you'd ever need it to be. You probably should have maybe written something else.
Yeah,
I just don't understand. I would get bored.
12 years, you can be a fucking doctor.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You could be a doctor, a lawyer. I thought I heard a noise.
Oh, they'll call? Okay, and we'll take a break.
Never mind.
For the fourth wall break for the listener, we're ordering a pizza, and
The
we're
pizza
waiting
guy's
for
going to be
pizza
the
guy.
fourth guest.
Yeah, the pizza guy will come on, and we'll ask him who his favorite comedians
Oh,
are.
I was
my
actually
God.
thinking about that yesterday as a podcast, to like order food and talk with the delivery guy for like 10 minutes. I just don't think they would ever do it though.
Yeah, they would be like, "No, I can't. No,
I just
can't."
found out about another podcast that's just 2 improv guys going around to women's municipal basketball games in fucking
funny.
LA and just kind of talking about basketball.
That's funny.
I just like
Wow.
the idea of chicks like that, like talking to delivery guys or going to women's municipal basketball games.
Jeez.
When I was in LA, I took for the first time an Uber pool, and I've never done it before.
Oh, where like you share it?
Yeah, because I was like, it was like a $10 Uber ride home or like a $3 Uber pool, and my friends were like, "Look, no one's ever in the car. Just take it, right?" And I'm like, "All right." So I get in, and it's like 2:30 in the morning, and we're like literally 5 minutes from where I'm staying, and the guy gets a call. And he answers it on speakerphone, and I can hear this guy's like, "Hey, I'm back here, blah, blah." And it's farther from where I just was. So he's like, "We need to turn around." So this guy turns around, and like, I've been in this situation in general enough to know what's about to happen. So once we get there, I record on my phone. I'm like, I got to record this audio. Like, it's going to be insane.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy gets in. He ends up being a pretty cool guy. He's talking. He's drunk out of his mind. But then we get another call for another pickup,
God.
and then we go to the other pickup, and then this is where it got a little interesting because the guy got into a fight outside of the Uber pool, and like we don't know if he was fighting with his friend, but they were arguing and yelling, and then the Uber driver and the guy in the front started like kind of egging this fight on, but also yelling at them to get in the Uber, and I have this whole thing recorded, and I was like. And I was showing my friend, and then the guy ends up getting in the cab. He doesn't put a destination in. So then he gets into a fight with the Uber guy. And then the Uber guy's like, just get out then, right? And then like we're fighting, and so I have this like 15-minute recording, and I was talking to my friend, and I'm like, man, I think that'd be a pretty funny podcast.
Yeah, it's your podcast.
They
Uber
just
Pool
go
cast.
to different Uber pools and record, and then kind of talk about it. But I don't know what the laws are with audio.
And like recording people with
because I don't want to distort their voice that much, but I'm like, I don't know. Like I know in video you need permission, obviously, but I just don't know in audio.
And
bit
usually
of a
in
delocated thing.
See, but the thing is in video they can usually get away with blanking out their faces, and that's it.
Yeah, and then they just use the audio.
Yeah, so
As long
maybe
as,
you can
as
use
long
that.
as you don't say their
Exactly.
names,
I don't
then
even know
they're
their
fine.
I think that no
Then
one
you're
would
fine.
know who it was, and it's
Yeah.
probably fine.
But here's the thing: like, obviously, if I wouldn't do something that was really bad, because there are very easy ways to trace who everyone is. Because Uber could
Yeah.
just be like, okay, I took this Uber at 4 p.m. These people were in the car with me, so I wouldn't like if something really bad happened. I wouldn't do it. But I think just the idea of taking an Uber at like 2:30 in the morning in L.A.
waiting for drunk guys to fight.
and then just recording is kind of funny. I don't know.
It would be easy enough. You just say like, "This is my scripted podcast that
Yeah,
I do,"
And it just kind of cuts in and out of like clips, right?
Yeah. And then just have like it cuts to you narrating. You're like, "And this was
Yeah.
and just
This
have it
is
all.
when is when he puked.
Yeah. So it would be easy enough to get around. There you go. So
Yeah.
where can people listen to your Ubercast?
In the future, you
So
need
get a time machine.
get a time machine and
We're all about time machines.
Don't forget to
today.
put the
all
crystals
time
in.
machines are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doctor Who for the win.
I prefer the DeLorean.
Yeah.
I saw DeLorean last week.
I was looking.
Yeah,
I was looking on
Nice.
eBay for DeLoreans
Like,
last week.
on Netflix.
no, like on the road, some guy was driving one.
Man, I'm so jello. I was looking on eBay for DeLoreans next week or last week, and it was like next week time machine. It was like only like a cool like 20,000 to own one that seemed in relatively okay looking shape.
Yeah, there must have been some flaw in the DeLorean.
Yeah, they're made out of stainless steel. They're
They're
like
pretty
4
much-
times heavier than a car.
Really fucking hard to fix. Bad on gas.
But they're good in accidents.
Oh yeah, it's like a fucking tank.
Fantastic
probably-
in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Like-
age well.
I feel like I'm like, oh, but I'm like, if it's a tank, it's like it wouldn't crumple, so you'd probably have a lot of like impact damage and whiplash.
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
Death Box, whatever that movie is.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
not like actual like crunched by things.
Yeah, like you would fly through the windshield and
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
car would still be cool.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
but it's a DeLorean, so you'd want it to be cool because like it's a time machine.
Yeah, obviously.
Mark, are you heading to Calgary anytime soon?
No.
Down in Calgary, I'm gonna be there next week with CalPost. They have a Tesla dealership there.
Yeah.
I get to test drive one of those. I
Oh,
know they're
nice.
fucking all over the place in California, man. Highly recommend.
I was actually like, there was a couple years ago where I'm like, all right, I need some like serious life things happening. And I went to talk to Tesla and I'm like, how can I get one? And they're like, you can put down, I think the cheapest you're able to put down was I think $5,000. And then your payments are like $800 a month. Like for the rest, like it's insane.
Yeah, forever, until you're dead.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
cheapest, and this was like before the whole boom happened in Canada with them.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, look, the value doesn't go down. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, that's rent. So I can either, like, I can go back to my parents' house, get a Tesla, and then be good for the rest. But the problem is there's no charging stations.
Yeah. Also, the problem is you're in Toronto and you're gonna be paying like fucking 5 times that in parking.
Well, no, because with the Tesla, you don't have to pay for green P parking because it's a green car.
Oh,
and you
Oh,
get-
they have green parking. Fuck.
and
and-
motorbikes.
And you can drive in the carpool lane. And you get $30,000 back from the government or something crazy because you're
Having a green car.
great.
Basically, you become a veteran.
Yeah,
Yeah, like-
instant veteran status.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, a veteran in the war on the ozone layer. Yeah.
it
Fucking
had a
rough
lot of
shit.
perks.
Oh,
And
man.
the guy even said that the energy that it charges is less than what your fridge does to your
Oh, yeah.
your house.
Yeah, it's like to fully charge the thing is dirt cheap. It was like $10.
Like
And
they're
they
gonna
free
make them
charging stations
affordable
everywhere.
event. Like they're gonna be
They don't have
affordable soon, but
Yeah, well, that's what they're trying to do right now is put that like
not yet.
basic model out. And I heard that so many different things. Like I heard like what they're going to try and do is the car comes in and then you change the battery. So you have a city battery, but let's say you want to go on a road trip, you go in and instead of, because the way they work now is they have like 3 different models. They have like the city version, the medium, and then the long one.
Yeah.
But then what they're going to try and do is just make it where you go in, bless you, and you change the battery out. So you have
Yeah.
the city battery, and then you're like, I need it for 10 hours. You go in, pay whatever it is. They swap the battery.
Yeah, and you get it for like a weekend or something.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting, like if it all happens, but
yeah, man. Norway is going to make it illegal to sell gasoline powered cars after 2025.
really,
Yeah.
oh, it's still kind of far away.
Yeah.
Why that long? Why not?
Well, like it's going to take a while to get them out of there.
I think it's a Tyrion Lannister situation where it's like, well, we got to give these guys 7 years.
Yeah, I'll give them
Or-
their notice.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, it's
You can't. Not everyone can just ditch their car in like right now.
But you have to have a gas-powered car after 7 years. You just can't sell them.
You can't sell them in there anymore. Like they.
But if you own one, you're still cool.
Yeah, you're still good. It's just they're going to slowly start phasing them out then.
Wow.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. The future is here, man.
Well,
Like, think about it. Like we had Blockbuster growing up. We didn't have cell phones. Like,
I'm like all like
people would argue about things. Like, you would be like, Hamlet's 6X. No, it's 5. It's 5, by the way. And, like, people would argue about that. And now you just pull out a smartphone and you're like, no, you're wrong.
I remember
I'm
being
pretty
out,
sure it's 6.
I remember my
all
mom
Shakespeare's
being
plays.
like,
what are you
"What's
talking
this
about?
Like, how much it's changed in, like, fucking 7 years already and how much it's going to change down the road. Like, this is way different. Like, my grandpa, who is just like, the world's changing too fast for me, so he's dead now. So it's incredible because, I mean, like, for them to get a gasoline-powered engine to a car where it is now, that was, like, 100 years.
Yeah.
And then just a whole brand new thing, and we're phasing them out. It's like 10.
exponential growth of technology.
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, if it ever will be phased out, because there's so much money that is invested in cars and gas, it's like when they're never gonna fully be like, all right, let's move on to the next thing. Forget about the trillions of dollars we've spent.
I feel like, and isn't that like the whole like Who Killed the Electric Car documentary? Is like big oil just does not want electric cars to succeed.
Yeah, but Big Avocado's coming in this year. And
Yeah.
I thought it was Big Mango.
Big Mango's
Do you
coming.
know how to peel a mango, by the way? Have you ever ate a mango?
Yeah,
I've
you get really
never
sticky.
peeled one effectively.
It's insane. Like, I might as well just smash it with a mallet, like whatever that guy's name is.
It takes 10 fucking years.
But so do you do it in slices, or do
I
you try and
haven't-
cut it in half?
No goddamn
I
method to
did-
madness.
I had to YouTube how to eat a mango properly.
I usually will just like basically like
Like
peel
slice it like a fry.
little bits. I'll
Yeah.
peel it off with a knife. Little
So you're in
bits,
there
and
for like
then-
40 minutes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
so that's
buy
a
the
whole
dried mangoes because it comes in a bag and you just get to eat it. It's like candy.
It is. It's very candy-like. I was like, I don't know what this is for real. And then I tried to get that.
I just chop it in half, tear
Hairy
out that
candy.
giant fucking boulder they got in the center, and then just eat it with a spoon. But like even then,
That's a good idea.
It's drippy, slimy.
It's too much.
sticky.
Yeah. Like I use
Yeah.
the skin as a glove,
Yeah,
essentially.
exactly.
Because it's like I don't want to get my hand all over it. So then when I peel the skin, I kind of wrap my hand around it.
Yeah, form like an armor. And we're taking a break.
Hey everyone, I'm Robin from Success 5000, Edmonton's favorite musical comedy duo. Probably. We have a new album out. It's online. You can get it at success5000.bandcamp.com. Or you can go to our website, which has a proper URL, but I like dongfarts.com better. That it will take you there. $8, you get a new album. It's great.
No, I did an interview with a guy that I lost, and he saw that I lost a bunch of weight, and he's like, "What did you do?" And I told him I'm just drinking a lot of water.
Everybody just talking to the microphone.
Is Lisa on?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa.
It's fine. I'll tell you everything, guys.
Is it a Chinese fighter? Is it what you
Fighter?
said? A Chinese fighter? Is that what you said?
No, Chinese people.
Oh, Chinese people.
Oh, like not somebody who just fights Chinese people,
A Chinese fighter.
I was talking
like a firefighter, but for
because
Chinese.
picture like the cheese in your frying pan, right? You put cold water, it's gonna harden all the cheese and the oil. So the idea is hot water kind of smooths everything out,
Cleans the pipes.
so nothing hardens really. And then I was talking about it on a radio station that plays all over the Toronto, like far away area, and I started getting all these like Asian like medical people following me on Twitter, and then they were like, "Thank you for finally talking about like you're finally bringing to attention the benefits of drinking hot water and stuff like that." Like it's insane. So like I've been drinking like hot water, especially after like
Tweeting about it.
and now tweeting about it.
Hot
for a
water
couple years.
advocacy.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, you know where the hot water
You're supposed to drink cold water in the morning. Yeah, thank you.
Well, yeah, you lost like 65 pounds. We were talking it off mic
yeah.
there. You were talking. You lost 65 pounds.
Dude, that's
50.
fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I was 245, 250, and I went down to 185,
Wow, good
and
for
now
you.
I'm 190.
Which looks very good on you.
Well, I think it's because you didn't know me before.
No, like your size. I mean, you don't
Well, that's
look
what I'm
really
saying.
small. You
Like,
don't look really big.
everyone thinks I do look. Take it easy, man.
Oh, into the microphone.
Here, you sit over here.
This is like weird.
That way you get a good microphone. That way you get a good microphone.
Yeah, but like everyone thinks like that I know they think that I look too thin or whatever. But I'm like, I don't think if I was, I would be able to have that much weight to lose.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like this is.
Oh, your body wouldn't allow it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
not
like-
unless you were very extreme.
You
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
healthy.
That's what I feel like. I feel like I looked, and people don't realize how big I was before.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Like even my cousin was like, she saw a picture from me from like 2 or 3 years ago, and she didn't realize how big I was. I'm like, yeah, like she's like, I just didn't realize because I knew how to layer properly. Right? Like, I knew how to layer my clothes. I'd always wear track jackets, you know, high collared things, jeans. Like you never
Yeah.
really
You-
could tell.
No, you dress for your size.
Yeah.
You know, if and then if people don't realize you weigh as much. Like that's my whole.
Until you lose 60 pounds,
Yeah,
people are
because
like, whoa.
when I first moved to Alberta, I was 230, 40-ish. And then I worked in the trades, and I dropped a ton of weight, like 50 pounds.
Oh, for sure.
And I put on a bunch of muscle because, of course, I was working in trades. And when I'd show people pictures, they were like, I can't believe that's you because I look
Yeah.
completely different. And then now I put it all back on.
Yeah.
And I like it's I'm just like really mad, but but I feel like I'm like you look healthy. I feel like I look like two healthy people, you know. Like, so now
well, two's better than one.
yeah, well, and then I told my doctor, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna lose weight, and he goes, all right, so how much weight do you want to lose? I go, well, I think 50 pounds is good, and he goes, well, that's a start, and I was like, I'm sorry.
Whoa.
That's a start. How fucking big do you think I am?
That's a start. By the time you're dead, you'll lose most of it.
Yeah, because I'll be down to 180, and I'm like 5'9", 5'10".
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think I'm
Jeez.
built to be.
Yeah, you can't be under like 180.
No,
Well,
not especially too if because I don't think doctors take into consideration muscle. Like I think they
Yeah.
don't. You know what I mean? Like they assume women are always going to just lose weight and just do all these aerobics, just do cardio and just drop
Yeah.
pounds. But I want to be fit and strong again, like I was when I worked in the trades, right?
And that's the thing. Like when I first lost weight, like people were like, "You're too thin." Like you know. But and so I started like kind of looking. I never really went to the doctor. I started looking on. I'm like almost 6'4", so I was looking for my height, how much I should have weighed.
Yeah.
And there are places that said that if I was over 205 at 6'4", I'm obese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's other places that were like 180 is normal for 6'4", so it's like
Yeah.
it's hard to gauge.
It is.
They have like a BMI thing,
Yeah.
which is total bullshit.
It's developed
because
by pharmaceutical
yeah,
companies.
but
Exactly, like-
I'm 5'11" and I'm 200 pounds like on the dot, and it's like you're getting very close to being like morbidly obese.
yeah,
and I'm like,
but it
yeah.
doesn't
Are
take
you-
into consideration
like I
other
have
things.
fucking washboard abs. I'm fucking
Yeah.
I am ripped and in incredible
Yeah,
shape.
but
and they're
you see,
like,
it doesn't
"Yeah,
take
you're
that
fat."
into consideration, though, right?
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing is like people will go online nowadays with the internet and they're gonna Google that shit,
Yeah.
and they're gonna go, oh fuck, this computer says I'm really fat.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not really fat. Like it's not
Yeah.
taking into consideration other things, but yeah, it's really shitty because the pharmaceutical companies, the ones that make the diet pills, are the ones that are behind like these. You know, you got like Jenny Craig and all of these groups, and so these people are the ones behind all this stuff, and they're telling you you're fat, and
Yeah.
you know, and it's
crazy.
ridiculous because like someone like you look very healthy. And like I said, you don't look like you're teeny tiny, and you certainly are nothing what I would call large.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like you're
like an average
not
size
quite
guy
like
for your-
like
Sometimes I look like
basketball
I played
player.
college basketball.
Yeah,
you look like
yeah.
you look like
Yeah, you've got that kind of like
Yeah.
like that fit.
Yeah, you
kind
got
of look.
length.
Yeah.
You got lanky.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like when I was telling you about the whole LA Fitness thing, they made me do a BMI thing.
Oh, like a fitness
and I'm
assessment?
like, how are you telling me that I'm putting my hand on this thing
And it's gonna tell you everything.
and it tells me everything,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
because she's like, yeah, your BMI is like 14 or 13 something, and she's like looking at this chart, and she's like, well, you're average, like that's good, but like you can be a lot better. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty comfortable with like where I'm at.
Average works for me.
Yeah, I'm like, as long as like it's good. And she's like, well, it's good if you want to be like normal. And I'm like, yeah, like it was just like the whole
Oh, fucked up,
brainwash
right?
You know, like
mentality.
people are always like, "Oh, I don't want to be normal. I want to be." It's like, you know, like normal people tend to live a long time. Like
Yeah.
abnormal people usually have like a brain tumor, and that's what
or
makes
like
them
heart
abnormal.
problems. Like I was talking about it with
Oh yeah.
with somebody. It's like my generation. getting to this point now, it's insane how many people under 30 are having heart attacks.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I know like 2 or 3 people who are under 30 who just done.
Yeah.
And like there's like some that had like past medical problems. There's some it's like
smoking or something maybe.
not even really smoking.
No,
like,
I think
it's
it's
just
more than that. Yeah.
it's weird. It's really weird, right? And it's
Well-
obviously how you're built also. Like some people like you have like Mick Jagger or whoever like,
Yeah.
these guys can do
Keith
everything
Richards,
till
yeah.
105, you know?
Yeah. Keith Richards, who's done more drugs than.
But like
Yeah.
the thing is like too back in the day, like 100 years ago, we didn't have cancer. It's like you die and must be a witch.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
maybe
it
more
just
than
wasn't
100 years
named,
ago.
but yeah.
Yeah. So like now we know it's heart attacks, but before
Yeah.
they were probably just like, oh well, you
yeah,
know.
people also didn't live. Like if you were
Jebediah was cursed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he,
like-
he spat at a gypsy, so now he's dead.
Yeah, I feel like if you lived like past 40, like a long time ago, you were just like some wizard. You know,
Yeah.
you had like a long beard and knew all his town secrets and
Of
everyone.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's
Jesus was
essentially-
like, because people are always like, Jesus was pretty old when he was crucified.
Yeah,
man.
does anyone know how old the apostles were? Like they could have
don't
been
know.
like 14.
Yeah,
for all we know.
10-year-olds.
They were, he was like the original boy band. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? With all
Exactly.
his groupies.
He was like, "Come with me, my apostles," and
is
$5
where-
footlongs for all.
This is where the priest got it from, right?
Yeah.
It was like, well, it was in the Bible.
Yeah. So
I guess we don't really know that.
Gross.
Yeah. Fuck. I don't know. I don't get too into like fiction really, so I don't really pay too much attention to that. But I don't know. Health is always a weird thing too, because like I'm pretty big on supplements. Like I buy a lot of protein powder, and that's like a lot of my
Yeah.
meals is fucking protein shakes. But I'm always worried because there's like, oh, you can get pre-workout, and then they're like, oh, that was taken off the market because it was killing people.
I don't
and I'm
do
like,
any of that
So
stuff.
what
scary,
the
yeah.
fuck?
I don't even take Tylenol.
You don't take Tylenol?
Nothing.
I just found
Nothing.
Tylenol 3s, and I really like those.
Mark, can you go wiggle the mouse?
I
I
wouldn't
think
take
it's just
them-
turned off.
I wouldn't take them ever before because I don't like narcotics. I don't like codeine. But then I had severe jaw pain a
Yeah?
couple months ago, and like
Was
it
that from being too funny?
No, no. Unfortunately, I think it was just
I think it's
from
gone.
being old.
What?
And, yeah, I just all
What
of
are
a
you
sudden
like?
I just
what? 34?
38.
Thir-
Yeah,
okay,
I'm 39.
35
yeah.
and a half.
Yeah, 35
Okay.
and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, and then I started taking I would never take them, but I had no choice. I was in so much pain.
For Tylenol, you have to take the Tylenol.
I had to
3s,
take them.
Yeah.
See, they
I
don't-
only took them to sleep.
But so I missed the beginning because I was playing with the computer. Did you not take pills before that?
I would take Advil if I had
Like
a
every
headache or
once in a
something.
while?
Yeah, I wasn't like a regular pill
Over-the-counter
taker.
sort of
You
stuff.
see, so then that's
I
my
can't even
whole-
remember to take a pill every day if I had to. Like,
Yeah, like that.
And how many kids do you have?
two children. Two.
But that's like the whole thing about it, where it's like if you don't take it, if you don't abuse it, I feel like when you need it, it works better.
For sure, I had to take one. Like I have
Yeah.
friends who had to take like 3,
Because
and
they're,
I
like,
took one,
immune
and
to
I
it.
was out of it. Like I was
Yeah.
so stoned.
And that's my thing. Like if I ever need to take medicine, like I'm like if I don't take anything, like I feel like yeah. But the supplements and stuff like that stuff scares me. I
Me
don't
too.
really-
Yeah.
Anything powder, like I don't
Yeah.
even like oatmeal anymore because it has the powder that you mix
the
with it. So I
flavor.
get
So
like
no,
I get
mine is good, man.
oatmeal. Like that's it.
Steel cut oats.
That's
what
it.
I get. I get
The
steel
steel
cut
cut
oats.
oats?
I
Just
love
basic.
my
I like
breakfast.
cookies and cream and dinosaur eggs. Are those okay? Like, those are
Yeah,
my-
yeah,
those
all
are-
natural.
It's
All
not
natural.
powder, so you're good. Yeah.
No, like my day to day, I wake up, I have like 6 to 12 eggs, and then I'll have like a
Wow.
big bowl of just steel cut oats and hot water.
Yeah.
Like my fucking, if it's not cheat day, it is just boring fucking Nick. It is.
I
the
need to
worst.
start to. I need to have that kind of commitment. But I have a fucked up relationship with food,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and I think, and it's funny because I've been single for 3 years, and I'm very happy. And but I have this really like almost fucking intimate relationship with food now,
yeah.
which I feel like it's replaced a partner. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I don't feel like getting rid of the food would make me want to have a partner. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
But I feel like that's what I've done now is I've I'm like, oh, Burger's Priest, and
Well, there's
Yeah.
there's two aspects to like kind of a healthy life really, and it's like exercise and diet.
yeah.
It's
And
mental.
like yeah, you can go to the gym and work out and get super strong, but just be like still a fat dude who doesn't look it.
Yeah.
But like I find a lot of the fitness and stuff, like eating healthy makes a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely. I've been told even by like people I know that are doing like the girls that are doing bikini competitions and shit like that now, because that's a huge thing now too. Is everybody's a bodybuilder now?
Yeah.
Cool.
Everybody's doing that, but it's like they tell me it's mostly diet. They're like, it really is mostly diet. Like even when I was slim, I still had like a belly that I just could not shake. And everybody was like, no, it's because carbs. You need to cut your carbs.
I would never do that. Like when I lost initially my weight, like I was telling him earlier, like I ran, like because I was just like I needed to do something.
I feel like that leans you out. I feel like that would work.
His training idea, his mentality of it was the coolest thing. Like what? Do you just want to?
Oh yeah, so I was telling him that I'd never come out here. Did I say this on the radio yet, or on the podcast?
No, you said off air.
Yeah. So I was like, I've never come out here for that at that point to do 45 minutes in front of like oil workers and these guys. So I was shitting my pants. So I was trying to figure out something I could do, and so I started training like kind of like a boxer, where I thought I'm like, if I run for 15 minutes longer than I'm performing, doing 45 minutes will be a walk in the park because I just ran for an hour and I hate running on a treadmill, especially. Like it's pure mental warfare.
Yeah, it is.
So then every day, because I pretty much had a show at that time every day almost, I would run for an hour and do a light workout. And that mixed with literally cutting out anything. Like I haven't drank pop or soda in like so many years. I cut out like chips, I cut out chocolate bars, I cut out all fried, like I cut all this stuff out, and I started like, because I was eating meat at the time, I would get like, go to the grocery store, get like a rotisserie chicken, which I know it's it's still not good, but it's not bad. So then I would make,
that's right.
Yeah, you know,
It's fried chicken.
It's better than, yeah, right?
It's better than a cake.
Yeah, it's better than a dinner cake. You
Yeah.
know?
I love dinner cake.
And then I would buy that, and then like spinach and all that stuff, and I would make sandwiches sandwiches and just have those on the road with me. And like I noticed that when I didn't like drink alcohol, fried foods, like, you know, I haven't had chicken wings in so long, it's like the weight literally fell off me.
Yeah.
And I feel like we all eat all this stuff and it just kind of sits there, and when you stop, and I understand age is obviously a factor and people's bodies are different, but I've been 220 for as long as I can remember, and comedy, I got my freshman 15, which went to freshman 20, which went to freshman 30. And then, you know, it's such a convenient food life, you know. And
it's a horrible life.
I grew up on food, like
when you're a
huge
road
meals.
comic? Yeah, well, and I'm a Newfoundlander.
Yeah,
so everything we eat is deep fried and covered in gravy.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just, I mean, like you're talking fish and chips and Sunday dinners.
And then imagine being like, hey, so get rid of all that quantity of food and try and eat healthy, which is like not nearly filling that void of like, I could eat easily 3 of these pizzas. Like I'll feel like garbage, and I will like be like, I might as well just gone on like a 7-day drinking bender. But it's like I can't do it because I have such a heavy food upbringing. Because, you know, growing up, like, I'm Italian, we had, like,
God, it's the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. So we have, like, huge meals. So it's so hard to be like, hey, eat this salad
with a little chicken in it.
Yeah, and then that's going to replace, like, a bowl of pasta, meatballs, potatoes, and
you can
that's
walk
just, like,
in,
one
like,
course.
An Italian, like, family, you walk in, and they're like, you could be fucking John Goodman, and they're like, you're so thin, eat.
Newfies are the same way. We feed you.
Yeah, it's just
like,
a lot of food.
Yeah, we do.
Bigger
like,
portion sizes.
Yeah.
I lucked out. I'm Irish. We'll just sit there and judge you.
Yeah, well,
Nobody gets any food.
You guys fucking eat, too. But, yeah, I think, and I find that with cultures that food, like, because I like in Alberta, like there's no culture, right?
No.
And same thing. I'm like you live in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Same thing in Toronto. There's no There's cultures.
There's cultures.
There's
no
culture.
Like, yeah, and I feel like that's like Newfoundland is probably the only exception, and Quebec. As much as I don't,
Quebec,
I don't want to give them any credit. But yeah.
Hey, Montreal has good food.
They do, but I feel like Newfoundland really has like Italians.
Yeah, you guys are definitely a Canada outcast because you have your own
everything
culture there.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more history. I feel like there.
Culture of unemployment.
But yeah, it's
we
really
finished it. We just finished all the work. That's all.
It's all done now.
You're done.
All done.
We beat work.
We got all those fish. What's next?
What's next? But no, it's the thing. Like our society, like is very much. My culture is very much revolves around food. So I went to the doctor a little while ago. Well, I had pneumonia. It started with this.
How do you get pneumonia?
A lot of people had pneumonia this year.
Yeah, I did, and I get the flu shot every year, but I don't get the pneumonia shot because I don't need it. My mom does because she has COPD and is very severe. So this year I just went and got my flu shot like usual, and then I want to say it was February. I just moved into my new place, and I was having trouble breathing, and I felt like crap though. I felt like somebody had hit me with a bus. So I wasn't sick at all, though. Like, I never had, like, a head cold before that or any kind of a flu. I just all of a sudden woke up feeling like having trouble catching my breath, winded, and I had this cough.
That's not what it's like being hit by a bus. That's very different.
Well, anyway, so so my body hurt, right? So I was like, this is fucked up. So I went to the hospital after work. I had to go to the emergency room because I knew I needed a chest X-ray. So I went in, and there's a hospital in Devon, a little tiny hospital. So they did the chest X-ray, and they said, yeah, you have pneumonia. So they gave me antibiotics, and he was real iffy about the antibiotics. I was like, dude, I've had antibiotics since in the last 20 years. I might have had them 5 times. Like, give me the fucking antibiotics, okay? So he gives me the antibiotics, and then they call me the following Tuesday because Monday was the family day, and they call me the following Tuesday, and he's like, something showed up in your X-ray. There's some spots on your lung that we're concerned about, and we just want to have a look. And I was like, oh fuck me, right?
Did you come on my podcast to drop some bomb?
No,
Is this your
it's
eulogy?
not a bomb, no.
Okay.
No.
Holy crap.
I'd already been
I'm like,
that joke would have won me the competition
I'm like,
alone.
this
Yeah. Trust me, if I get anything, I'm going to wrate jokes about it.
I'm like, this goes on iTunes under comedy. You better not be telling me how you're dying.
Trust me, if I'm dying, there'll be the material there would be ridiculous. So anyway, I go in and they want to do a CT scan. So I was like, okay. And he goes, no, don't worry about it.
Oh, I fucking hate
this
those.
This is what he says to comfort me. I've never had it come back as anything other than these like nodes on your lungs. But he's 12. My Doogie Howser is my doctor.
Oh, nice.
So I'm
he
like,
just started. He's like, I've done like 3 of these.
You've been here a month, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I go and get it done. When I come back in his office to get the results, he pulls out the results and he goes, all right, so let's see, where do we start? And I was like, what? Really?
Oh.
Are you serious right now?
At the beginning.
And then he goes, okay, well, let's deal with this first. And I was like, fuck.
You're giving me anxiety here.
So the first thing he tells me is he goes, you have a nodule on your thyroid. And I go, well, I already had that. I had it treated. Obviously, it didn't go away. So I'll get it treated again. And because I'm refused to have my thyroid removed.
Okay.
And then, I was like, all right. That's not a big deal. And then he goes, oh, and then, so your lungs, you do have it looks like early COPD. So if we get you to quit smoking soon and we catch it now, you're going to be fine. So I was like, all right, that's great. And then he goes, also, the scan caught part of your liver. I was like, dude, we weren't even fucking looking at my liver. Like, we went in to look at my lungs, and now you're just pulling out all this other shit that you found. You are like fucking Midas right now. It's like bringing my car into Canadian Tire for brakes, and all of a sudden I need rotors.
You're going to need a new muffler and wipers.
What the fuck is this, right?
Oh, my God.
He's like,
oh, no.
So you have fatty liver disease. And I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious? And he goes, how much do you drink? I was like, not enough to talk about.
Too much red meat then?
And he said it's too much meat in your diet, too much food,
Yeah.
too much.
Can you lose a fatty liver?
You can lose fatty liver disease.
Okay.
So he told me
you
that
fix it with diet.
you got to fix your diet, and he said it's a first world problem because of our shitty diets.
I was watching a documentary on it actually, and the sugar documentary, and they were saying that there are
fucking
more.
love
I was told
documentaries.
to watch that.
Yeah, it's I'm done with basics scripted stuff for the most part. I'm in this documentary phase, but it's like
I love documentaries.
it was on sugar, and they were talking about how there's people who are religiously against sugar and think it's the leading cause of everything bad, and there are more kids now under 15 who are suffering from fatty liver disease
and type 2 diabetes, which used to be an adult problem.
Yeah, then alcoholics, because it's that fatty liver disease was only really known from heavy drinkers,
right?
And they're the guy who was talking about it, he's like, the first case he had, it was 1987 or something like that, and he was blown away. He's like, well, this is weird, and then he started realizing the amount of it that's gone up, and he's like, if you're a kid who has diabetes or this fatty liver thing, it's it's very hard for you to live past 65, where some people don't really care.
A lot of people say that's a disease, but it's more of a symptom of bad parenting at that point.
Yeah, well, and not even bad parenting though too, because food security is a huge issue too, even in Canada, right?
I was so happy.
Unhealthy food is cheaper than healthy food.
That's the
unfortunately,
problem.
right? I mean, so it's cheaper for parents to buy chicken nuggets than it is to buy chicken breast.
Yeah, but
right? So,
that being said, where I grew up, we were really poor, so my parents didn't buy food a lot.
You hunted.
Yeah, so we would just hunt for food.
Right, but not everybody has the access either to buy a gun and get the license and get.
You can do that even if you're a criminal. There's just other ways
that,
of doing
for
it.
For me, I used to live on $800 a month. I was a single mom on welfare. $800 a month doesn't leave a lot of money left over to buy a gun and ammo
and bullets
and a license and to get my certification.
Get some truck to haul a deer
right?
deer back.
And, you know,
You just chop
and
it
if
up,
I can
throw it in the back
get-
of a
if I can
Kia.
get- If I can get childcare to be able to go hunting, then I can probably then use that childcare to get a job. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
you
Yeah.
know?
And where are you gonna find the deer in Toronto that you would want to eat?
I know, right?
You know?
Like, yeah, like in Newfoundland, it's different, of course, because it's the same kind of
Yeah.
thing as you,
Yeah.
right? You'd be able to get it, but
Yeah.
and that's the other thing. Then, how do I get there if I don't have a car, if I don't have a truck,
Yeah.
I don't have
Just
a car?
sling,
How do I
sling your
get
gun
into
over the
woods?
shoulder and walk out like
Throw
Rambo.
it on the bus where the bike rack is.
Yeah, there's not even a bike rack on the buses in Newfoundland.
That'd be
That's
fun.
hilarious.
I know how to do it if you don't know how to do it.
Yeah,
I know. Is that
Yeah.
Apple?
He has a Mac
I don't
too,
know.
so.
Yeah.
I don't understand apples
he
at
has a
all.
Mac too. And I'm like, it's just
My
in settings,
personal
but
favorite kind of apple are ambrosia.
I like Red Delicious because they suit me.
I'm into your
There you go, you got
full classic Spartan.
Spartan apples, eh?
Classic
see
Spartan
levels.
one.
Yeah, I can see things are moving up and down.
Like I said, we're going right now.
I'm
So.
cooking with
Yeah.
evil gas. Cat human.
Yeah, I like cats.
They will
They,
wander through.
they just need to have a personality.
They all have their own personality.
That's good.
You might not know it right away. I feel like
Personality.
I'm not.
That's a good one.
I'm like, is it hard to see the cat's personality right off the bat? These particular cats, Tom.
No.
Well, the one cat ran away.
That's the running
That's
one.
Precious.
There's two running
so
ones.
Precious.
actually.
that's his personality.
Sure.
Based on
They're
the
all
novel
ladies.
Push by
Oh, that's her
Sapphire.
personality.
That's a scaredy cat.
Precious was found in a box on the side of the road and
Oh.
behaves as such.
Okay.
So she's like kind of she likes to be around people,
Yeah.
but she's afraid of them. So
Yeah.
she'll kind of be in orbit.
Oh, like
usually.
every stand-up comic. Pizza 73, the 70s is 3. Shittiest jingle song. Jingle, jingle. Yesterday I had to sing Happy Birthday for a guy in a restaurant, but instead I did Happy Gilmore makes two.
Okay.
Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, and the Water Boys for you, Adam Sandler.
I still say his best movie.
Okay, guys, as always, our music is done by Ben Sound, audio touch-ups and engineering done by Triptych Winter. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast. We had a wonderful time making it. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it. If you could go to our Facebook page and hit like on that, or Twitter and follow us or some such, it actually kind of helps out. Or if you're on iTunes, like, favorite, subscribe, rate, review, I don't know, do something. Just do things, okay? Thank you very much.
That's a normal thing.